Ask any multimillionaire and they will tell you the first million is easy, but it's the first 100,000 that is the hardest part. And so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the complete process for any beginner coming into AI to be able to go from $0 to $100,000 and the 5 key challenges that you're going to face along the way and the solution to each of these different roadblocks. Sweet, Michele, man. Great to see you. I'm so excited to jump into this because that 0 to 100K is what everyone's after right now. And you've just recently gone through that process. So we're going to be breaking down the 5 key steps that you've got in between here and there. And you've got a ton of sauce in there, guys. If you don't know Michele, he's been absolutely crushing it. I've been watching his story for a while now. Came up through my accelerator, and he's just been going from strength to strength. The way he's doing his content on LinkedIn, the way he's sourcing, the strategy he approached learning the skills with is actually really, really smart as well. So, Michele, mate, it's great to have you on here, and I can't wait to share what you've got to share with these guys. Well, if you just want to give us a bit of a framing on your journey and how you sort of come to the realization on a lot of these before we jump in.
So what you see here on the screen is the road to 100K and all the problems that I had to go through along the way. And I broke them down into the 5 key steps, five key milestones that I had to go to get to the 100K, because it is one of the most important steps, at least for me, to then be able to go down in different directions. But I feel like these cover mainly what most people really go through when they go to build an AI automation agency and so on. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, these are the exact things I have to answer again and again and again and again on calls. And it's going to be so great for people to see this contextualized. I've basically taken the playbook that I've been screaming at everyone to do for so long, and you giving us the actual screenshots of those messages that you're sending out and the examples of the posts you're doing. So I'm super, super excited to jump into this, man.
All right. So the first step here is really just learning AI. So this is the first milestone. When you get into the whole space, I feel like this is where you get the most overwhelmed because you get introduced to all the different tools that are out there. In this case, for me, I was introduced to Vapi, VoiceFlow, Make.com, Lovable. And again, you were one of the YouTubers that I was watching over time because you were introducing all the different tools and you're talking about the AI automation agency model. And I was so excited. And when I jumped into the AAA, which is where I really got started with the whole sort of journey, I was introduced to all the different tools and I was overwhelmed because there's so many different things to focus on. And I didn't really know what to do at that point. And that was
that all the time.
Exactly. And that was, I mean, focus is one of the hardest things to have, especially in the space, because there's so many things you can do, so many things you can focus on. So for me, that was a key step that I had to go through. So what I did for me, I actually spent a few weeks diving deep into each software to understand more so the space, but also what each software did and the function that it played around how to build a business with it. And then through Casey, which is one of the success managers at AAA, he told me to just lock in and focus on one thing. And that was Make.com in that case, workflow automations. And that's the thing that I decided to jump in.
Remember I did a video, I think it was in like end of middle of 2024 or something, and it was like the 5 different ways to start an AI agency, and it was basically the same thing. There's these different areas that you can specialize in. There's a voice agent. So it was like, I mean, you could even go to Zapier ecosystem and get really good at that. You could just do the workflow part of things, or you could do the text-based agents and chatbots. And I think what was really, really helpful for a lot of people in the same way that it is for you here, to just like cut out the noise and just pick one area, because they're all like, if you just focus on voice agents, you can become very good at them. And there's so much money to be created in that space right now. Likewise with workflow automations, or if you want to be doing, I think the custom software and vibe coding one is a great path to get into as well now. So taking that down from thinking you need to be like a general agency and be able to do everything to just being like, this is my area of expertise and I can learn that stuff, which is so important for beginners to know.
100%. And it's so easy to just like focus on all of them. Because like you're missing the opportunity if you don't focus on all of them, rather than just dive into each one, which is exactly what I felt, because I was learning everything, literally everything on the market out there.
The interesting thing about workflow automations is I call it's kind of like the meta skill, because you use it across everything. So even if you're building text-based agents, you may still be like orchestrating that with a workflow platform like Make, or if you're doing voice agents, you might be doing your tools on something like Make, or you might be doing it on N18, and it's same kind of transferable skills. So I still think that workflow automation base is really, really solid.
100%, especially as someone who came in with no technical knowledge. I think the fundamental skill here is like APIs, understanding how apps talk to each other. And the skill you're learning is not Make.com, it's workflow automations. And that's something you use across the whole board.
And understanding how like software talks to each other, like APIs is the core of everything we do these days, across all. Even if you're putting custom software on Lovable, it's like, okay, well, I've got this cool looking front end. How am I going to get it to do anything? Okay, well, I understand that my automations would have to send API requests around, so maybe I can get some workflow automation or like some tool that I create and then hook it into our API, and it's just like everything is built on top of that ability.
100%. I think that's something you learn over time, like what fundamental skills you actually need to learn. But that was really, really key for me. So what I did essentially was just niche down as much as possible. AI automation is already a niche within AI. So niche down to one subset of AI automation, which is workflow automations. And to be able to learn these tools, people overcomplicate this. They think they need a course. They think they need to find some fancy software to go out there and learn these tools. But what I learned is just YouTube is the best place that you can probably learn all these sort of softwares and stuff.
Nowadays as well, there's so much of this content around on YouTube now. Like the amount of AI automation training content. I put out full courses here on the channel on basically everything, the AI agents, AI automations, and vibe coding, and all these things. I have full courses, and then there's channels that are just specialized in each of these different areas as well. So if it's like, oh, I haven't got the money to start this, it's just not even an excuse anymore.
100%. Especially for me, because I literally had $0. And by the way, just so you know, like when I joined the accelerator, I didn't have any money. I asked my sister to give me 80% of what she had, and my dad as well. And I put it all into the accelerator, and I went full in. So that was like all in. And that was a key for me. And the thing that actually got me started as well was your chatbot videos. Like you were posting chatbot videos on VoiceFlow. So that was the thing I found on YouTube as well, that you can just simply learn and just get going right away. So the second step here after learning AI and getting started, once you know your sort of niche within the AI automation space, you know that you're doing workflow automations, then it's about how can we get our first clients, right? And for me, at the start, initially, it was just about working for free for the first few clients before actually pricing any client, before asking for money. And for me, it's just because of experience that I wanted to get, but also just to get going, get the momentum going. I feel like early on, you want some quick wins. You want something to keep you going because that keeps you motivated and so on.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the free strategy, I get into a bit of a difficult situation with some people. Like obviously you're young, you've got time on your hands, you've got energy, and you wanted to do the fundamentals and learn from the ground up. When there's the other side of the AI automation space, or people wanting to get into AI businesses, or people with jobs and they want to do it as a side hustle, and they want to come in and not necessarily do all that groundwork and have like a really solid skills base. So it's always a bit tricky whether for younger people like us, or maybe people who are time rich, definitely doing all the learning, the fundamentals, and then working your way up through free clients to paid clients. It's just a very logical progression. But then some people do come in and say, oh, I don't really want to do all of that work. I'd rather just kind of be the connector or be the marketer. And that is possible. But this is definitely like 100% the guaranteed way. I call it like the slow way to get rich with AI is to do this path, to learn the fundamentals. And like you will absolutely get there. But it might not be as rapid as you expect, because you do have to go through free clients, gradually increase your prices, which is exactly what you've done.
I mean, it's just doing the unscalable before you scale, right? And for me, it was like 19 with so much time, like you mentioned, no responsibilities. I talked to 45-year-olds who are trying to get in the space, and I understand their point of view when they say they don't want to work for free because they have something to lose, they have responsibilities. Yeah. So it just makes sense on that end. But I feel like this is still the first step just to get experience, to get the momentum going. I actually dropped the email that I actually sent to my first prospect, which was a guy that I knew from an agency that I work with. I just told him, hey,
I love those, bro. So sick.
I just wanted to help you out. Can you hop on a call? That was basically it. And this was 6 days after I saw your videos, the first video on automation. And I was like, okay, this is so sick. Let me just do it. Let me just jump in.
Moving.
Didn't know anything. Did literally zero idea what anything was. Just sent the message. Because why not? And these are other messages as well. And the Warp Network is literally like the thing that I really emphasize on this is just reaching out or maximizing your contact list. So go through your contacts and just message each person that you know. And I was 19, by the way. When someone told me this to reach out to my Warp Network, I was like, the first objection I had was, I know no one. Like no friends are mine. I'm business owners. I have no friends who are business owners. Literally nothing. Once you dig deep into it, like you find that your sister's boss is a restaurant owner, and your sister's friend's dad is another business owner. And you go from there.
This is so important to point out, and I have to keep answering these same questions as well. It's like, oh, but I don't know anyone. I say, you need to get your first clients from warm outreach. If you just ask people around you and you make enough noise and let people know, there are people in your network who not either they themselves need it, so you have your first degree connections, and then in this case, it's like someone you know who knows someone. So here you've got like your sister's connection, right? So that's a second degree connection. So instead of saying, oh, I only know young people or students, and none of my family have a business, it's like, no, who do they know? Ask them, hey, mom, dad, hey, or like your auntie or your uncle or whatever it is. Is there anyone that you know would be interested? I do this stuff now. And so I think it's so helpful for people to see these screenshots right here. If you've ever wondered how to do it or how to actually reach out to people like that.
Something I wanted at the start, I was like, what do people even say when they reach out to the Warp Network?
Yeah.
This is exactly the text message. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Like none of this is crazy. It's just reaching out to people that you know. Usually the way I would frame it, if you're 19 with no network and you have nobody to know, you just frame it as like, do you happen to know anybody who'd be interested to just help or help with our work?
And if they are interested themselves, they'll say, yeah, like, I'd like that. But if not, then you get access to the second degree connections as well. So it's this is the whole Aussie warm outreach strategy. It's not like I've invented it. It works. So just do it.
And that's at the start. That's what you have to do at the start. I mean, I think that's a non-negotiable unless you just get so much traction that you need to get free clients. But I think like this is a really important step.
Yeah. Any other route, the school community one you're about to break down is a really good one as well. But if the fastest way to get your first 1, 2, 3 clients is going to be through that warm network you've got.
It's just faster. Like you can do it tomorrow. You know what I mean? If you know someone, you can just do it tomorrow, max out your contact list, go through each one, and just you will get something. Like I can guarantee you just go through each one.
Yeah, I've actually got a full guide on the warm outreach, guys. So I'll link that down below. You guys can just grab that. Breaks down the whole strategy that Michele is using there.
The next strategy for me was school community. So I actually joined your free school community. I mean, now it's insane actually the amount of people that are there. But this for me was like, where do I go where people are asking for work? And because you were like the guy that was just doing all these things and had a free community, a lot of people just joined. So in your job board hiring, there were a lot of people who were asking for jobs, asking for work. Like, hey, do you know someone who's able to do X, Y, Z? And this is the job post that I saw from a guy who's actually my friend now. He was my second client in this case. And he was looking for a chatbot guy, voice flow. And I just DM'd him and saying, hey, I'm from the UK. I build chatbots. Can we hop on a call? And that was pretty much it. That was the second client. And
just like that. Again, another thing I've been yelling at people to do is like, we have like 500 to sometimes 1,000 people per day coming into that community. They're either posting in the introductions and saying, hey, like I am XYZ, I do this, and you could just reach out and make a connection, or the hiring channel where there's people looking for developers or they have a specific project in mind. So if you actually go in there and at the same time, if you grind a bit of sort of clout within the community and you start to post and like create a bit of value, share a bit of value, being the go-to people or notable in that community is so much business you can get off the back of that. So it's great to see this being like actioned on it and seeing results from it, because I know that hiring board has got so much source in it.
I think it's so underrated. I mean, especially because there's 200 plus K people in the community, and some posts don't even get any comments or 1 to 2 comments. Like there's so much opportunity out there that you can just take action on. So these two were the different strategies that I used to get my first clients. In this case, the first two for free: warm outreach and then school community. And
do you want to just give us an insight to you, maybe be a bit vulnerable? What was it really like doing those first few clients, bro? Like, did you feel out of depth, or did you feel that you'd prepared well enough with the material you'd been through on learning automations? Like, what was going through your head at that point?
It was horrible. I didn't know anything. I just hopped on a call. I just told them that I do chatbots, and I was like, I can make your chatbot better. And then we went on the call, we went off the call, and I was meant to use make.com as well for like the chatbot, and I had zero idea how to do it. And I basically had to spend 3-4 days going on authorizations with the client, and he got pissed off and he ghosted me. So like that was the first. So that's setting up the accounts on Make, yeah? On HubSpot, on VoiceFlow, on webhooks. I didn't know what a webhook was at that time. Just zero. And he just ghosted me at the time. So yeah. I mean, for the beginners, what's the best way that you've there's a bunch of different ways of approaching it, but for those initial setups, like, do you have Loom videos now? Do you have a like SOP that you pass over to the client for setting them up on certain platforms or giving you access? Like, what's the way that you've refined that? I think for me, the way that I like to hop on calls. Like, I've tried different things. I've tried sending Loom videos on, because I already had tutorials and, hey, here's how you can make your make.com account. Here's how to connect your Google Sheets to make.com. But I found that even with showing a step-by-step video, the client still has questions. So you might as well just go on a call with them and just walk them through, hey, share your screen, click here, click there, connect this, connect that. And then it's just better. Even if you invest that 1 hour, it would be there anyways. All right, cool. Now we can get to getting more clients. So now we got 3 clients. We got the second client. How can we get more people to know about our stuff? In my opinion, when I first got started, the thing for me was content. That's the thing that I saw you do. And that really inspired me to just post content as soon as possible, because content is actually one to many, which means that you can make one piece of content, it can go to 1 million of people. So you can get a lot of stuff from there. Now, when I got introduced to content, I got introduced to Medium, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and Instagram. And one thing that I find a lot of times is that people try to stretch themselves out and just do everything. And that's something that I did at the start as well, because I did YouTube, I did LinkedIn, I did, I think Medium. I was doing everything. And thankfully I had people like Casey who told me, hey man, stop messing about, just focus on one platform and just do it really well. Yeah, this is like a chronic beginner issue, and I always try to hammer it home, but just like one is enough.
Even for me, like I barely post on LinkedIn. We're starting to post a bit more to talk about what we're doing at Morningside. X, we've just started posting on consistently. Instagram, I basically never post, and Medium, I've never done. Like if you just do one platform and do it really well, particularly the big ones, like if you're just doing YouTube really well or just doing LinkedIn, I've seen guys doing short form content on Instagram and getting tons of leads for their agency and their school communities through short form on Instagram. And I'm sure you could do the same on Twitter. Like I don't really think there's anyone really running the X space when it comes to AI automation agencies and things like that. So if you just pick one and do it well, we've had even guys in the accelerator doing the Medium strategy and just posting on Medium and getting tons of leads for their agency like that. So, but you just got to pick one and do it well, because there's that skill curve of like actually getting deep in the platform and realizing, okay, what are the trending formats? Okay, I've done enough of these posts now that, oh, this one popped off. And you just start following these little grains of truth from the data that you get back on your posts, which I'm sure is what you're going to break down now.
So for me, okay, so I got introduced to all these platforms. My decision on why I chose LinkedIn was based on where do the people that I want to target, where did they hang out? And what was I most comfortable using at the time? And so the LinkedIn content that I had, the strategy behind it is the reason why I booked over 300, 400 calls just off of organic content. And it was separated into 3 different types of posts. The first one is the automation videos, which is to show your expertise. The second one is lead magnets to provide good stuff for free. And then the third one is personal, show that you're just human, that you have a story, that you just have feelings and stuff. So that's the main thing about content and that part aside. Now, the automation videos itself, what they are and what I did then is just literally
got as many nodes on the screen as you could. That's the hook. The crazier it looks. It's like the NA10 ones now. It's like the crazier the scenario or the workflow looks. But yeah, I mean, it stops the scroll, doesn't it?
Exactly. It just hooks them. So YouTube was where I learned. So I learned YouTube, and then I actually posted on LinkedIn. This was crazy to me. I was watching YouTube videos, someone building automation. I was making them with them. So I was actually learning through the process, and I was posting it on LinkedIn. And then I got clients. Like that for me was like, it's just a crazy process that I have to go through, because people overcomplicate this so much. You just learn, post what you learn, and then just do it over and over and over.
That's what I call like the potential framework. I think you would have seen in the accelerator as well. But there's this very, very powerful upward spiral that I got stuck in, and you've got stuck in, and anyone else who's really succeeding in the space gets stuck in, which is you realize is when you start doing content off the back of your skills acquisition, like when you learn a certain thing, you're not just learning it in isolation, you are learning for the sake of content. And then that can help you to get leads. And then those leads convert into clients. And then those clients give you learnings. And then you can talk about that in your content again. So it's this like powerful upward spiral where like some people will just learn in isolation and learn. And then they'll try to like go and market whatever they've learned. But if you're learning and creating content at the same time, and just really, really exploring your own curiosities and like how far can I push this tech? That was like the biggest secret for me, was just finding something that I was totally nerding out about. And I just wanted, like, it felt like play to me because I was just cooking up this awesome stuff. And then I made a video about it. And like that I'm sure you can agree, is when you get into that like real playful zone is when you make your best content. And it's when you're making content that's really pushing the boundaries of the space. And that's what's actually unique.
The lesson with content that if you just do this, like you just succeed, is post content as you get good, not when you get good. That's like the main thing that you just mentioned here is like no one, like just document what you're doing, because there's no real experts in the industry. I actually feel like there's no real experts. This shit only came out like 2 years ago. So that's why I think that's important. So automation videos is just to show your expertise. This is you building an automation and showing, hey guys, this is the automation I built. This is what it does. And fundamentally, like when I started, I was working with 0 clients. So I wasn't showing any automations that I built for clients. I was just showing automations that I just built for fun, you know? And that's what I think one of the roadblocks that I got started with, I was like, okay, but I post videos, I have no clients. How can I post videos about automations that I never built for clients?
Personal projects. I keep shouting from the roof about that as well. Like if you're looking to get started, find some personal projects. Like talk to ChatGPT and get it to like help you pull some ideas out. But there's some personal projects, either if you're doing voice agents, if you're doing workflow automations, if you're doing like text-based agents, there are some personal projects that you can do.
Yeah, and because of the fact that we're targeting business owners, the thing to understand is like business owners don't have the time to set it up, but they have the time to be on their phones, look at what's possible in the space, to then reach out to you for help. And that's like the thing. Now, the second part is lead magnets. Now, if I were to point the success that I had on LinkedIn, it probably was on the lead magnets that I made. So lead magnets fundamentally comes from the fact that you're playing within LinkedIn's algorithm. So the way it works is that you make a post. Let's say you, Liam, you comment on my post. Your whole network, everyone who follows you, sees that you commented on my post. It's like a compounding effect that just follows. And as you can see, I mean, it did pretty well.
Damn. That's so important to point out how the algorithm actually works on LinkedIn. It's just like with YouTube, you need to understand that they're incentivized to recommend videos that are going to lead to long watch times and long sessions. And on LinkedIn, anytime someone comments, if you can try to bait someone into commenting, like if you maybe made a post about me and then I happen to comment on it, then boom, it goes to my whole network, right? And so the lead magnets like this and asking them for them to comment is going to get all of that spread out into other people's networks, right?
Like the thing about LinkedIn that I found over time is that it doesn't so much matter about the algorithm itself. It's more so that you just share value. Like the way that you share value is different. Right here is through a video showing, hey guys, I just built this. Here's what it does. I've never worked with a business, but here's what it does. And here's just me giving away some stuff. And that's playing the LinkedIn algorithm. And I'll break down the exact posts and how they work, all that sort of stuff, so we can go that into more detail. Mm-hmm. The third one is personal, show that you're human. Again, this right here, I think is so underrated. You saw Mert, he did some personal posts that did really well. Is the fact that LinkedIn necessarily, like 3 years ago, it was just seen as a hiring platform. I still think it is seen as a hiring platform. And with the fact that LinkedIn is seen as a very serious platform and everyone's so serious and so like, I'm proud to announce, then people don't necessarily care about their personal stories. And that's like
that's to announce.
And that's like the main thing is like, if everyone's so professional, just don't be professional, be yourself, just share about your story, of course, like to the limit, but personal always builds up. This is what builds a brand. Like this right here, I think what helps build a brand of like, you're not just working with
zoom in onto that bottom one. Like so for informant, start learning. Sick. That's like showing behind the scenes, the grind. That's like so powerful, man. And what I really love about this whole strategy, if you zoom out of it, is like these are different content formats. To zoom out to all three of them. And this is something that you guys really need to, regardless of what kind of content you're doing, is finding these different formats. And if you look at this, it's freaking genius because you have the lead magnets, which are helping you to get pushed out into the algorithm. That's the discovery. It's like on YouTube here, I'll make some videos that are intended to go broad and get me discovered by new people. Those lead magnets are going to get you shown to a lot of new people. Then when they come in, they might like or follow or connect with you in some way. And then they'll see on your page, you've got all of these show your expertise videos. And while those might not go as crazy, they will see that, oh, well, this guy's actually had a consistent track record of posting things that he knows. So not only did he put this out, but one, he's a real person and he's got these like, this is someone I might want to work with because he's obviously into some interesting things, or he's working really hard and he's got the expertise. This is like, I'd say why this has worked for you so well is because you've got that discovery mechanism and then the credibility and authority, and then also that human element to it. So if you guys are doing content across any platform, the same thing applies. You need to find out how you're going to get pushed into the algorithm, how you're going to get discovered, and then how you're going to show your expertise, and then some element of being a real person that people can actually relate to. So I think you've freaking cracked it, mate. That's it's textbook.
But I mean, like we mentioned, focusing on one platform, this is exactly why. Before I could put this together to show you guys, it took me a year, like a solid year, which isn't a long time, but like hours and hours and hours and hours just in my room, just understanding what it is, how to do it, how to just get better and better and better. Invested money into like LinkedIn coaching and all that stuff, like all this stuff that I did to get really good at one platform, and I'm still not good enough to tell you enough. Like that, just being one platform is just so key because like this is hard.
So imagine trying to do that across 3 at once. It's just no way.
Yeah, and that's why most people just stick to one platform and then they expand to different platforms when they understand one platform good enough. Okay, so the automation videos, lead magnets, personal. Let's go on a deeper level. Let's look at the actual breakdown of the post itself. Each post on LinkedIn is similar. It has a hook, it has a body, and CTA. Now CTA, optional depending on the type of post that you make, but it's something that I always like to have because it drives them to take action. So the hook right here, one of the most important things about the post, because fundamentally when you go on LinkedIn, most people don't know this, but 70% of the audience or people who are using LinkedIn are at work on their phones, right? So you want to make sure that the hook itself has 40 characters in line, which is mobile optimized, summarizes the whole post. So when I look at this, I basically really want to understand exactly what the post is about without having to read it, and best to add numbers. So when you add numbers, it just shows results, more credibility, something that we're more willing to do, especially for business owners, because they have no time. They want to see exactly how it impacts them and how like the outcome that they can have for their own business by looking at this post. Then we have the body of the email. So this right here is just, in this case, a list works great. So step 1 is this, step 2 is this, 3 and 4. And again, this is for automation videos. So, hey, I built this automation. Here's what it does, right? In this case, it's what it does part. Avoid paragraphs, make it easy for the reader. Again, I mean, you've probably seen posts on LinkedIn that are just like 3 paragraphs long. Nobody reads that. So don't even try it with that. And the CTA.
And like you've got those little arrows put in there as well to like literally guide their eyes onto the next line. It's not just a bullet point, it's like actually an arrow pointing them to it. So like guiding their eyes through each line.
Now the CTA, which is essentially what do we want the person to do? A lot of people don't add this, which you're missing out on, because a lot of people, because of the LinkedIn algorithm, because like commenting is like a big part of LinkedIn, and you want someone to drive action, to take action, do something. In this case, why don't you just tell them, here's the next step you want to take. In this case, because I'm repurposing YouTube content, you can say, hey, check out the link in the comments for the full walkthrough. So fundamentally, that's a strategy that I had for LinkedIn. And I mean, right here, I broke down exactly how we can write each post, the different types of posts, and so on. We'll leave the link down below just in case you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, there's tons of good stuff here, guys. So if you are wanting to do LinkedIn and really break down the strategy, Michele's really fully broken down how he's writing these posts. So for the sake of the people who aren't maybe going to go all in on LinkedIn, I'll link that down below with there's other links there. You guys can check this out. Super valuable. I mean, if there's anything you want to copy or take inspiration from, then it's this. So I really appreciate you sharing this with the guys.
Yeah, no worries. And honestly, like the formats of the post are very templated in a sense. So if you follow once, if you see it once, you won't see it. You will not forget it, and you just copy it. So that's pretty much it for the content strategy. And then down below, I mean, that is the reason why I was booking 2 to 6 calls a day from LinkedIn organic with nothing paid, which is pretty unheard of to say from one LinkedIn account, from one guy just in his bedroom, just trying to make it. I think that 2 to 6 calls a day was pretty good.
And that was all. What was your like conversion mechanism off that? Because obviously a lot of engagement. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I might have got a bit of traction or impressions, but I wasn't able to convert those into book calls or qualified calls." So we use like you're shooting them the link to the resource in the DMs, and then you're starting a conversation from there. Or how much are you automating this as well?
So the funny thing is, I didn't send a single DM for months, like a single DM. What I was doing is just putting the lead magnet and then updating the post later with the link. And then letting them know. Now, fundamentally, like, yes, I was sending them the resource, but I wasn't pushing for a call, because previously what I did before was like, I put the lead magnet, for example, like the 3,000 comments. I was just on my phone replying to each one. I'll send it to you. I'll send in the lead magnet. I'd never follow up because I didn't need to, because I was getting already 2 to 6 calls a day just from like,
Yeah. So it's a supply issue, not a demand issue. It was the same thing. I think anyone who gets their acquisition and particularly content working well runs this. Like for us at Morningside, it's never been a demand issue. It's always been a supply. Like how many new clients can we actually take on? Because there's just so much, especially when you're doing general dev.
I mean, I guess it's like a good problem to have, but it's still like, it was still pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because the conversion off of like the book calls is horrible. I mean, we can get into it. Yeah. Sales process that I had was consultation 45 minutes, then proposal call another 45 minutes. And then I had a 5% close rate. Now that's not even noticeable. I mean, that's horrible. But the close rate was honestly, it's just a numbers game. I'm like, out of 100 people that I speak to, I think one of them is going to say yes, and
in between the consultation and the proposal is like 4 hours of like prepping and proposal writing and like putting together the slide deck and getting ready to present it to them, right? So I remember we would spend like 4 to 6 hours like prepping. As the projects get bigger and bigger as well, there's like way more you need to cover, and more like working with the devs to figure out how long it's going to take. But yeah, give us how do you get over this one, bro? I love this part.
On that note, man, like I was using Canva like every day for like 3-4 hours, just putting, like you said, proposals together. This looks pretty, this looks nice. But over time, you realize that you can cut it down.
And you get on the call and they're just not, you realize you haven't financially qualified them at all. And then they see the price and they go, oh, like they get a shock, and then you just never hear from them again. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So the problem here wasn't the amount of book calls that I got. It's just conversion. Like I had no friction, which means that I had, I think 2 or 3 questions on the actual form. They could book in at any time they wanted, for how long they wanted, and they just came right in, right? And I just had book calls every single day. I was so stressed. It was just horrible. The process that I went through to actually solve this was through actually changing my sales process. So fundamentally, it's just adding more friction, which means that you now tell the client, we will have a 20-minute consultation, which is free, so they can book in. And this is more than enough time to like figure out exactly like sort of like where they're at and so on. And then if they're qualified, not qualified, but if they're qualified, I'd say, then you pitch an audit. Now, this is something that I got off of your video where you mentioned an exploratory
expiration milestone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing that I implemented. So I told them, hey, if you want to work with me, you have to pay $200 for 1 hour for the audit. So that actually made it worth my time to even hop on a call with the business owner. And that did 3 things. That increased my ability to close, because I spend more time with the business owner, so I could actually like teach them some stuff in a sense and actually take them through different things. see more opportunities for upsells later on, because when you break down everything in audit, you start to see more problems. So you can start making like a roadmap as to like, we can do this first and then that. And then the third thing is just you get more qualified people, because if they're willing to pay for the audit, they're going to be willing to pay for whatever it is that you have. Like,
no, this is key, guys. I'll put the video that Michele is referencing here on how we do exploration milestones at Morningside. I'll link that down below as well. But it's really important. We had the same issues at Morningside, terrible close rate despite tons and tons of leads. And as soon as you put a financial qualification in, either like it's a quick audit call, or it's like we would hop off the end of our consults at Morningside and we'd say, okay, yeah, we're ready to go on this. Basically, like there's always a few unknowns here. So we're going to start at like 800 or 1500 or now it's like $5,000-$10,000 for us, what we charge for these initial engagements. But we're going to explore these different solutions and we're going to see if that's actually technically feasible for you. And then at the end of that, you get the full proposal, and then we can move into the next part of the contract.
What was it for you though? How did you know when to price the audit, the milestone that you did with them?
When to, or how to price it?
Like, how did you know how much to price them? Because you mentioned it's like 3 to 10K. Like, how did you?
Yeah. It's based off the size of the client and also the size of the project. So if it's like a huge one and we're talking about it's going to be like a $100,000-$200,000 project, we've just done a exploration phase. We're in the middle of one, just wrapping up at the moment. That's, I think it was $10,000 or at least 5 figures for the exploration part alone. And that started as like a $500, like, fuck it, let's see if they say yes. And then it went up to 800, then 1,000. And like we just gradually increased it as the size of our clients grew as well. So you can just start super low, like you do with this audit, just anything to financially qualify them to get the tire kickers out.
Now, they improved. I say improved because my close rate went to 40%, which is much better. It's like an 8x from the 5% that I had. I was so much less stressed. I was making more because the quality of clients was increasing, and I was working with less clients, less calls, and more time to do whatever I want. All right, so that right there fundamentally is how the LinkedIn strategy was, and that's what I used to get more people to know about my stuff. The next milestone or phase that I had to go through was productizing my offer. Now, the reason why I wanted to productize my offer, it was by choice, because with Make.com and custom workflow automations, because of the reason why it's custom, you get a lot of problems that I had to go through. The first one is scope creep. So every single client that you get into doing a project, what it looks like at the start and what it actually looks like at the end, it's completely different. So it wasn't that nice when you figured out that something couldn't be done the way that you thought it was. Or when the client told you, hey, we actually have this step, and you're like, oh, that changes everything.
Yeah. And then you got to like be a bit of an ass. You feel like you're being an asshole about it. You're like, no, but like, that's not what we agreed on, man. Like I'm going to need to charge you more for that. And that's some uncomfortable discussions that I think early agency owners maybe aren't super great at dealing with, but just like knowing your value and saying, no, this is what we agreed on. So yeah.
I mean, it's just about understanding that you're helping them. Like they're not helping you in the sense, so like, position yourself as like, I mean, I'm making you a favor, so like let's just work together to make sure that we can get this going, and whatever extra work we need. The only thing for me at the start was like, I told them, let's say we're doing an onboarding system. The outcome is we'll do a fully automated onboarding system, but that's the outcome that we signed on the contract. But the onboarding system changed over time, but the outcome was still I had to do the onboarding system. So I still had to do the project yes or yes, and that was a non-negotiable for us. And you can talk to the client and so on, but at the start it wasn't something that I had the balls to just go to the client and just say it. Mm-hmm. All right, so when it came to productizing my offer, apart from scope creep, we also had the knowledge gap. So knowledge gap just means that whenever a new client came through, they're from a different niche. I had to relearn the whole market to contextualize the automation to like their business. And so that came from just not knowing any niche and just figuring out as I go. But productizing my offer, the first part of it was just niching down. And so what I did is I analyzed the past 10 months of clients and I asked myself, who did I like to work with? What brought the most money, and what recurring problem did I get asked to solve the most? And that's the fundamental thing of like, okay, I need to niche down. And I analyzed all my calls, all the clients that I worked with, all that sort of stuff to then niche down to the offer that I'm running now, which is again, working with agencies in specific for the client delivery, which is very, very niche.
That's so far, man. I think if you've like nailed it with that, that's such like for the people that you're trying to help, that's like exactly what they want to hear. Double client capacity without hiring more people in 30 days. It's so specific. That's just such a fire positioning statement.
So niche. This is super niche that, I mean, there's not a lot of people who do this, but fundamentally it's like when you niche down, you're just scared that you're just missing out on opportunities. But for me, it's like, I couldn't do the custom work anymore. So I had to do more so something that was repeatable. So you can do every single time, but also I knew the niche really well. And I could solve the actual problem that they had. And by the way, if you guys want to take a look at the LinkedIn profile that I had when I actually had the offer, this is what it looked like: outcome, picture, statement, and then the about section as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's super good way of laying it out.
And so for me, the important thing was prioritizing my offer to make things repeatable. So the delivery itself had to be repeatable because it was solving one pain point for one niche. And so the delivery process that we had was using a framework that I made over time, which is called the AIATO framework. It all started with the audit. So fundamentally what this is a call with me and the founder, just breaking down the process that they went through from the moment a client signs to the moment a client to deliver the service, and the whole process they had to go through that. Now, this process was crucial again, because without this, we can't go to the next step. So fundamentally, we just break down the whole thing. It's about 1 to 2 hour calls that we do with the clients. And yeah, this is an example that we had. Then we have the implementation phase. And this is where we centralize their project management system on Notion. And these are the dashboards that where they basically manage their whole client delivery. So team tasks, projects, all that sort of stuff there.
Okay, and so this is you migrating them over to something that you've built, right? So this is a template that you've created and you're like, this is my system. This is how you're going to be able to scale your like increased number of clients you can handle without hiring more people. So you're sort of pushing them onto this.
Because I know the niche really well, and I know that agencies, to manage their client delivery, they use one software and another software and 3 other softwares, and everything's so scattered. So Notion is a software we use because it allows us to put everything in one place. So yeah, that's where we transition everything here. So implement project management, and then we go to the automation part, which is where we automated at least 30% of their whole client delivery using Make.com. So see how I'm not discarding Make.com. I'm just putting it into like a higher ticket, more just more transformation for the agency. That's integrating with like a bigger system in this case.
Mm-hmm. And so you're just changing these around, maybe like 20% of the work done that you would have had to do initially is just like tweaking it around, changing the prompts, making sure it's all working as expected.
100%. I mean, because I knew the niche really well, and they all had similar problems. They all had a similar process. So it wasn't like a crazy amount of difference from each sort of agency. And the next part is train. So we obviously had a delivery call with the team. We made SOPs that we can put them in Notion, so they know exactly how the whole system works. And then we have the optimized period, which is 60 days. So we improve the system over time. We jump up bi-weekly calls with the whole team and make sure that any changes are made after using the system. Now, this is great for us because we get to cultivate the relationship with the client, which is, I believe, is one of the most important things as you get into higher ticket. Because this right here, this offer was going for 9.5K. And so when
9.5K.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, that's way more than I would have expected. That's freaking awesome.
Just positioning, bro.
Positioning, bro. And it's also like, if you got enough leads, you can afford to be, like the more demand you have on these calls, like if you have only 10 people coming to you, you might have to sell it for 5, because like the chance of you having people who are willing to pay that much is a lot less. But if you have 100 people, there's going to be a handful of those who do have the budgets and are willing to spend more on this AI stuff than the others. You can kind of volume your way into high ticket, which is basically what we've done at Morningside as well.
I mean, just to let you know, like I ran an offer campaign on LinkedIn to get these clients. I sent about 580 loons, personalized loons, to people, and to get one client, which is 10K. But like the upside is like so much better because it's 10K instead of just 2K, which is like a normal project. So ideally you want to work with less clients, pay more, and increase the price of the best you've ever made. So that's that. All right, then we go to the last milestone, or the last process that I had to go through, which is how to outsource. So how to make sure that now you have all these clients, you have these projects. How can you give it to someone else so you can focus on actually growing the business, making content, because it is a full-time job, like Liam said. So the strategy for me was using 3 different places. The first one was the AAA school community. So I just put a post here, which is a full circle moment, because I used to look for jobs here, and now I'm putting a job there for someone to talk to me.
That's the ecosystem, man. Like it works. And I'm on my YouTube videos telling business owners, like, go into my school community and post for, like, make posts saying you're looking for certain things. Like you can come in here to make posts about hiring as well. And then other people can come in here looking for work. Like it's a perfect meeting of the two sides of this space right now.
100%. And the second thing for me was making a post on LinkedIn, asking if anyone's interested. Now, because I was doing Notion as well, like it wasn't something that I could ideally find here. I mean, I posted here, I didn't get anything great off of Notion, but workflow automations, because it's the AI automation space, I got like tons of people. So that was a fit for me. So LinkedIn as well. And then the accelerator, I mean, you guys have literally a whole like place to find people, and they're vetted. Like you won't put them there if they're not good. So I use it as well. All right. And when outsourcing to other people, the problems that you're going to find when you're giving work to someone else, or at least that I find, is you don't have enough cash flow to hire someone full time. So you hire a freelancer. The problem is that freelancers are cheap, but and they're lower quality, right? So that means you have to spend more time on training and resources. And what I found, at least the freelancers that I worked for, they weren't not delivering on timelines that I set. But it's like the balance is like, you want to pay more for someone who's more skilled, but you don't have the cash flow compared to someone who's cheaper, but you have to put more time into like making sure that they do the right job.
Yeah, I've been ringing this bell for a long time. We had this. That was our first. I mean, when I was getting Morningside AI off the ground, it was Upwork freelancers initially, and they just you're one of 10 clients, and I mean they're probably not even like, they might just be good at reaching out to people within the community, and they've got a lot of projects, but they're not super skilled. And so you want to be able to get to that point where you can pay someone to get all of their time, and that's such a big unlock for any agency or anything you're doing here in the AI space, is that first full-time developer, because they can drive so much in results and deliveries for you. So it is a tricky period initially with these with the freelancers.
I mean, the good thing about my offer was that it wasn't so custom. So like I could train someone to do it. The thing that really ended up happening was that I just got a Notion guy who just did Notion stuff, because that was like the main thing structuring the system. And I offloaded the make.com to someone else as well. So I had these two people in the same time.
So
now the solutions that you can implement, that I implemented, was set expectations on day one, make them want to work with you. I think that's one of the main things, is like, I mean, people, if you have someone who's good, if you have someone who you can see potential that they're actually good, make them want to work with you, like invest time into making sure that they're all set, to make sure that they just stay with you. And you basically form a long-term relationship, because working with someone, I mean, your business is your baby. Like you want to make sure that it actually grows, and you want to make sure that the people who are taking care of the business are just, they're solid, and they see your vision.
Yeah, super invested in what you're doing. Yeah, and that's part of it when the leadership skills come into play, is like painting the vision. I mean, like, look, we're going places. Like, this is, do you want to be on this ship? Like, look, I want to get you into these roles. Like, oh, you can really step up into this position, and the right people will respond really well to that. And that's how I've always approached leading these people.
And right here, I mean, we walked through the whole 5-step process that I went through to get to 100K with the agency. And fundamentally, along the way, you just get to learn new skills. For here is just automations. Then here is how to reach out to people for the first time. And here is content, which is a massive one. Here is offers, leads, all that sort of stuff that you want to know. And then here's how to outsource, which is fundamentally all the skills you need to learn. You're going to have to learn to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's the business 101 skill set, right? Like how to get clients, how to run the operations of the business, how to hire people and manage them, how to learn skills that you're going to eventually be able to monetize as well. So, mate, that's been some mega sauce. If you guys haven't got anything out of that, then there's something wrong with you. As someone who's on calls regularly with people, I'm talking to hundreds and hundreds of people across the community. I see it firsthand in my communities as well, what people are struggling with and what's making them ultimately succeed. It's all of these roadblocks that Michele's broken down here. And he's basically given you a textbook way of getting over each of these. So it's awesome to see you just flawlessly execute on the exact strategy that we've laid out for you, man. And I'm so excited for what's to come for you, mate, because you're absolutely crushing it.
Appreciate you, man. And I mean, this is a repeatable process that anyone can go through. I'm not doing any magic here. This is what works. Just do it, focus, and just be consistent.
So Michele, really appreciate you, and all the best. I hope you guys can agree that was absolutely packed with sauce for you beginners looking to get into building an AI business. Like I said, if you guys want to get in touch with Michele and his agency, the links will be down there. And if you guys want to be featured on this podcast as a guest, you have a story to tell, or you have some secret sauce that you really think could benefit the community, then you can apply to be on here on my channel using one of the links in the description below. If you want to hear another incredible success story about two 19-year-olds from Turkey making $320,000 with the AI agency by selling AI audits, that's broken down here in this full interview that I did with them. But that's all for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.